Welcome to the channel, guys. We are back again, and today I'm going to be talking about L'homme Ideal Cologne by Guerlain, so stay tuned for that. And if you like the content, guys, hit that like and subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. Now, this fragrance has been hyped up a lot since it was discontinued, and the price for it is actually pretty reasonable, or it was when I bought this. I think I paid around $25, maybe a little bit less, for a 50 ml, which is not dreadful. It's a cheap fragrance. And so I decided to try it out. This one has been talked about a lot. It's been hyped up a lot, and I decided to blind buy it because of that. I wanted to see what the talk was all about and if I liked it. So anyways, this fragrance, I gotta say right off the bat, I will say I was definitely disappointed, and I definitely think, at least for me, this fragrance is a little bit of hype. Not to say that it's dreadful, but for me, if I had smelled this ahead of time, I definitely would not have purchased it, because it's not really something that I enjoy. I know a lot of people swear by this fragrance, but I do find it a little bit unusual for a summer fragrance especially. I'm just going to go over the presentation briefly for the fragrance. It does have the standard L'homme Ideal bottle, so square, a little bit of indentation there, and the logo right there. This one has white marking on the outside. I do actually kind of like this cap. It has this nice signature writing on the top. Cap clicks into place. You can of course hold it. Distribution is not bad. It's not a terrible looking bottle. I do kind of like it. I'm hoping that I do like the Intense a little bit more, or one or the other from the line, and I can happily purchase it. But that is the presentation for L'homme Ideal Cologne. Now, what do I actually smell with this? I will say that the original burst, the opening, really did start to grow on me a little bit, so there is a lot of citrus in there. I do get a little bit of mandarin orange. I think the way that this one opens up for me is that it does have a little bit of a citric element, which does actually start to blend into something a little more lemony. And so it is actually not bad. I do like that citrus. It's very bright. It has a sort of aquatic feel. That heavy citrus elements soon tapers off into the almond, which is one of the main players of this fragrance. And the almond is actually quite creamy. So it doesn't smell like an actual almond nut. It smells more like a creamy almond milk or something. And actually, to kind of make a comparison, if you think about Rolling in Love, it has a very creamy almond in it. Kind of like a milky almond, and that's sort of similar to this. Now the fragrance is quite different. You know, there's more florals, there's more depth. You know, Rolling in Love is his own fragrance, and I do actually think it's quite good. But even that I wouldn't really wear in the high heat. It would be something more for spring that I think it's actually perfect for. But anyways, and this fragrance, the creaminess has a bit of a fresh, kind of almost aquatic feel to it, which to me comes off as a little bit unusual, and it smells weird, for lack of a better term. It's a little bit sweet, it's a little bit watery, a little bit aquatic, and sort of a creamy, milky almond vibe, which does put me off. I will say that's really the biggest complaint, is that I don't find that this almond note, which to my understanding is pretty prominent in the L'homme Ideal line, lends itself to being so fresh. It's not maybe that it couldn't be a summer fragrance, it's that the way that they've done it really is a little bit unusual and weird, and I don't know how else to really describe that. Now, this one does taper off pretty quickly. I actually don't have that almond vibe for more than a couple of hours. It definitely tapers off, and I get more of a woody, a little bit of a vetiver type of vibe, which is kind of nice. I will say that the dry down is a little bit generic, but it's not bad. In that dry down, I actually do get a little bit more of a bit of a dry almond as well, which is nice, but I do, again, find it to be a little bit generic at times. And I mean, the dry down is actually fairly pleasant, I will say. The sort of woody, almondy kind of thing, and that weird freshness and creaminess is gone. So all in all, I'm not a huge fan of it. I may get rid of this bottle at some time, although it is a fairly nice looking bottle. Now, when this would be suitable, I don't really think this is much of a summer fragrance. Maybe spring, maybe a cooler summer day or evening, maybe fall if it's not very cold where you live. But definitely in the high heat, this seems a little weird, and I think that especially the sweetness could become a little cloying because heat tends to amplify sweetness quite a bit. Ultimately, it's not bad. It's blended well. It's fairly smooth. It just smells a little weird to me, and it definitely wasn't to my taste. If this hadn't been $25, I would probably be upset for having spent so much. But it is one of these fragrances that I think got hyped up when it got discontinued. A lot of times you see this fragrance, people ignore it, and then it gets discontinued. And then I guess, you know, there's always something nice about having something that can't be gotten or whatever, and a little bit of hype starts to surround it, even though, in my opinion, it's not that great. But anyways, I am looking forward to trying more from the line. I would like to try the L'homme Ideal Extreme. I have tried Cool, just briefly. I did like the mintiness, but I only had a very, very quick impression of it from the airport, so I can't really comment on it too much. But it did actually seem to me like somewhat of an improvement because it had a very nice, prominent mint note. But that is essentially what they've replaced this one with, is the L'homme Ideal Cool. I don't know if you'll like that one. Obviously, you should check it out. You should check this one out. If you can sample it first, always better. And I think most of the L'homme Ideal line is available on Discounter, so you can always get a pretty good price on these. And there's the one thing to say about Guerlain is that there are good fragrances in there. There's fragrances that you're going to enjoy in there, and they are a little easier to find on Discounter. So it is something that you can get good value for. But anyways, guys, I think I'm going to cut the video there. L'homme Ideal Cologne. You know what? Leave a comment down below. Is there any fragrance that you bought into the hype, tried the fragrance, didn't really enjoy it, and kind of didn't, you know, kind of regretted your purchase? Let me know in a comment down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.